What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. This is T-Word, the People's Champ. Here, my co-host Q. Today, we're going to preview Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin going down April 1st. And this looks to be a pretty good boxing match, guys.
Absolutely.
So we're going to get into it. Q, I think you got the clip ready, man. Let's go ahead and see what Derek James has to say about it.
You need to eat as well, so I appreciate that. Your first impressions, the first time Anthony Joshua came to see you in any kind of training capacity, what were your thoughts?
I thought he was very good, very fast, very athletic. I thought, very strong. So that's really what my first impression. I've noticed his athleticism, his how mobile he is, and strength.
Derek, on paper, this will be Anthony's third trainer in the space of 3 fights. What are your thoughts about that? And not the case of you being the third trainer, but I'm asking the fact that he's had 3 trainers in the last 3 fights.
I think that you just have to, this is his career, right? And realistically, he can have a different trainer every day because it's all about what fits for him and what he thinks that works best for him and somebody who can help take him where he wants to go. So, I mean, really, it's like it's a fighter's career. I always tell fighters, if you're not getting what you feel like you need to get from me, then you should go find somebody who's going to help you. So that's what I believe. So that's the case.
Come off mute, bro.
There we go. You saw Derek James at the Grand Arrivals yesterday evening in London, ahead of Joshua Franklin. Which is a fight that we're all looking forward to this Saturday on DAZN at no additional cost for everybody that already has a DAZN subscription. So, yeah, man, I mean, Derek is doing what sounds like a really good job getting in Anthony's mental space, helping him to kind of repair some of the damage that may have been done previously. What I did like that I heard from him, not just in the clip that you guys were able to see, but also just in general from the feedback that people have been reporting, is that it sounds like Anthony has been doing a lot of things differently in this training camp that he had not been doing previously. And to me, that's smart, right? I mean, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So naturally, in this case, if he wants to improve his stock, if he wants to get back to or improve on the career that he's already had, it would take him doing something different than he's already done. He's moved his camp out to Dallas. And it looks like he's really hitting his stride with Derek James. So I'm looking forward to seeing how those two guys mesh. And I hope that we get a lot of in-corner sound bites on how they're able to interact with each other in the heat of battle.
Absolutely. I mean, you probably already know. Many people out there know I highly respect Derek James as a trainer, not just because he's a trainer of the fighter I prefer, but also because I love the way that he coaches, and you can see it in his camp. I love the way that he's not having guys run crazy combinations on mitts and things like that. And he gets into the psychology of the fighter. And I think that that's really important because I tend to use a similar style when I'm training people. I get into their mind and try to understand them, because then when you're more relatable with the person, you tend to be able to get the most from them. And I think that's why you see his fighters do so well. And I feel like Anthony Joshua is going to reflect that type of input from Derek James. The thing that I felt like Anthony Joshua's needed the most wasn't physical training necessarily. It was sometimes it felt like when he would get into a fight, when plan A didn't work, he didn't have a backup plan. And one thing Derek James is known for is having a backup plan. And I think that's part of what he's probably been working on with AJ. Hey, let's switch up some things because you've been too comfortable with your previous trainers. And then I'm going to also encourage you to have a backup plan when things don't go your way. So when plan A doesn't work, you can go to B. When B doesn't work, you go to C, and then listen to my instructions in the corner. Obviously, this is going to be their first fight together, so we'll need to see how the chemistry works when bullets are flying. I know that that's going to be important. How's he going to respond when he's getting hit back by a very live opponent?
Yeah, and I think the one thing that's going to be a great test for AJ in this fight is the reality of where his career is at. He's talked about it in numerous interviews at this Grand Arrival that everybody's welcome to go and look up on YouTube, but that he doesn't enjoy going back to the regular indoor arena. He's going to be fighting at the O2. It's a 16,000 seat arena. It's where a lot of his early fights were. And one of the interviewers asked him, "Hey, you know, you're back at home. You're back where your career started. You know, how does it feel?" And surprisingly, he was like, "You know, it's all right. I mean, it's not where I want to be. It's not Wembley's," I think what he said, talking about fighting in Wembley Stadium, where he's had a couple of fights now, most famously the Klitschko fight. But, you know, wanting to get back to that level, that shows me the hunger of knowing, you know what, I've had to take a step back. I've had to humble myself. I've had to do some things differently by changing trainers, you know, 3 times, as the interviewer mentioned, from IFL TV in this interview you just saw. But I think it's the reality of knowing, hey, listen, I have to do things, you know, and I have to correct some things that I've been doing wrong. And I think that starts with this week. And I think that it's actually a good thing that Jermaine Franklin, from what everybody's being told, we'll see at the weigh-ins on Friday, looks to be in the best shape of his career. I mean, the guy has lost reportedly almost 25 pounds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He's supposedly, yeah, man. And I'll actually show you a clip of it if I can find it. The guy is very trim, and supposedly the dude has abs now. So if you're saying that, that means that he took training very, very seriously for this fight. And that means that we're going to get to see Joshua tested in ways that he's been tested before, but we'll also get to see how he responds. The one thing I will say is that I think Derek James having a cool, calm, and collected reality will mesh well with Anthony, because Anthony is that way as well. I think that may have been the one thing that wasn't a good match. While I thought him and Robert Garcia, from a tactical standpoint, from motivational standpoint, would work pretty well together. I think that Robert, being an outgoing, outspoken, loud, boisterous kind of a coach, maybe doesn't resonate so well with Anthony. But Derek James having the similar personality and the similar mindset that when things are not going well, hey, listen, this is what you need to do. You correct this, cut this off, make sure you don't do this, and get him to kind of refocus from round to round. And I think that's going to be a great match for him. I'm really looking forward to them fighting together.
Oh, yeah. I think that Jermaine Franklin made a good showing for himself in his previous fight, and that's how he got on the radar. And win or lose, another great showing against a really good heavyweight, one of the greater heavyweights of his era. It's going to be good for Jermaine Franklin no matter the outcome. That being said, if he's in better shape, because I thought the thing that lost him the previous fight was that he did seem like he wore down and ran out of gas, and maybe it's just a moment. It could have been several different things, but I think it was just stamina. And he didn't look like he came in the best shape of his career. So if he's gotten that under control, then that's going to push AJ in a way that I think is important for him to go forward to the next step. I mean, I'm predicting that AJ is going to win the fight, because I think that he's going to have enough strategy in place to make it very difficult for Franklin to win. And the one thing that Franklin's going to bring that I think is going to challenge AJ the most is that there's some similarities in stature and in hand speed to Andy Ruiz. So I think that those reminiscent moments are going to tell us everything we need to know about AJ. When he goes, man, this feels familiar. And then he goes back to the corner and they talk about their game plan when they prepared for this moment. And then he goes out there and executes. I think that's going to be big for him to spring back into the bigger picture in the heavyweight division and feel comfortable going in there with, you know, Fury and Wilder and potentially Usyk again. So I think, like I said, I think AJ is going to win, and I think it's a good springboard if he finds himself in a tough situation and he's able to rally and remain calm at the same time.
Yeah, and the one interesting thing I will initially got announced and they had the press conference and everything was the natural comparisons between Andy Ruiz and Jermaine Franklin. And he actually was asked that in one of the interviews yesterday. And one of the surprising things he said is that he doesn't see any correlation or similarities between himself and Andy Ruiz at all. He believes, honestly, himself, he believes that that he's more of a pure boxer, of a combination thrower from the outside. He believes that he has better feet than Andy, and that he doesn't rely so much on, you know, high guard pressure as much as Andy does, because Andy is more just kind of a stalk you, get inside your wheelhouse, and then get to work there. The one thing I will say is that while they are both equal in stature as far as, you know, being around 6'2", 6'1.5", it's going to be really important that if Franklin wants to have any kind of success in this fight, he's going to have to get inside the jab, because that's the one thing that we know that Derek James, with all of his fighters, that he's helped them improve. And Anthony Joshua already had a good jab before he even went to Derek James. So if there's anything that Derek is probably going to be making sure that he has AJ focusing on, it's going to be keeping Jermaine Franklin at the end of his jab, where he's at a safe distance to throw combinations without being too much in harm's way. Because if you have a reach advantage and a height advantage, it would be well worth your while to go ahead and use it.
Absolutely. I think that there's going to be some strategic and physical advantages that AJ is going to need to keep in his favor, and that's going to secure the fight for him, which I'm assuming he will. So again, I'm on record. My prediction is AJ. Who are you picking to win?
Yeah, man, I got AJ. I think realistically, if he's on his game and he's doing what he should do, and he's the AJ that I believe he should be, this is a knockout between rounds 7 and 8.
Oh, wow. I was predicting the distance fight, and he's just going to outbox him. He's going to show some stuff that we hadn't seen from him in a while, but a knockout is very realistic. I just don't know how much of a chin Franklin has, so he could find himself on the canvas for a 10 count. So we're going to close it.
Great thing is, we'll find out.
For sure. So we're going to close right there, guys. This has been TNSQ. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think about this particular topic. We'd love to get your thoughts. Until the next time, we're out. Peace. By the way, AJ plus DJ equals victory. Good job.